Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. This is the third time that I've actually reviewed this figure, and it's just because there is a new paint scheme out of it. So we're going to take a look at yet another version of this Spinosaurus. This is, as I once called it, the Crazy Papo knockoff Spinosaurus, and this is version 3. I have reviewed both of the other versions before, and this is actually the one that I was looking forward to probably the most. Originally, when I had gotten the first green kind of orange-faced one, I was super excited about it, but I didn't really love the colors too much. I thought that the colors were kind of weird and fake looking. It didn't look very natural. And then I got a greener version, which looked way better in my opinion, much more natural. But then I had seen this one online and thought that the colors on this one looked even more natural. But I will say in person, this one isn't as nice as it looked on the internet. Now I know most of the time when you get a figure, you normally don't like it near as much as the prototype pictures make it appear to be. But with bootlegs, it's kind of a different story. Usually what you see is what you get. But I feel like the paint job on the prototype picture that I had seen for this bootleg knockoff figure was definitely a little nicer than the one that I got. I don't know if maybe I just got a poorly painted one, but it's not bad, it's just that the other one was a little better. But regardless, let's take a closer look. Now, as far as the sculpt and everything goes, this sculpt is exactly the same as the other ones as far as detail. They're just basically recycling this figure repeatedly, but doing different things with it. And you can see that the paint on the face looks pretty nice, actually. It doesn't look bad, but I feel like the lower jaw with this yellow, although it does look very nice in the promotional pictures, it looked like there was like kind of a little hint of orange here and there in it, and it just looked a little better in my opinion. But honestly, it doesn't look bad. It actually looks pretty nice. The teeth look pretty good as well. You can see the teeth there. The upper jaw definitely seems to have some coloration to the teeth, almost a yellowish, more of a realistic type of a color. But on the lower jaw, it really looks like they didn't really do anything as far as coloration of the teeth go. Looks like it's just the same coloration as the whiter part of the lower jaw. You can see that the side of the inside of the mouth is also that same gray, but the tongue has been painted, so it looks pretty good. It's a nice, natural, realistic type of a color. Upper part of the mouth also has been painted, so the inside of the mouth isn't bad. The eyes are pretty sloppy. I mean, this one don't look too bad. It looks alright, but yeah, I guess they look okay. There's just not really any type of a gloss really on them. Kinda looks like it on the camera, but in person it doesn't look very glossy at all. So the eyes aren't half bad. They're much better than they were on the first figure, but I think that they're not as good as the second green version, but they again don't look terrible. Nice. I like the red crest here on the top of the head, and I like the red that runs along the back. I really do like the overall idea behind this paint scheme. Kind of reminds me of like a chicken or a turkey or something, with this little bit of a red on the end of this hanging skin on the underside of the neck and jawline. And then you can see it's basically just a brownish color. Kind of, you can see some hints of different browns throughout, which was a nice touch. You also can tell that the feet are a darker coloration, a darker brown than the rest of the body. The sail is green with a red tip, but that also, in my opinion, looks pretty good. I also like that there has been a nice wash put over it. You can see the cracks and crevices are really elaborated all over the body, and then the red basically runs out the whole length of the tail. I'm not going to review the sculpt of the figure because it is basically just the Papo Spinosaurus mixed with the Papo Baryonyx, and then there has been some alterations done to it as far as the sculpt goes with the sail and this stuff here in the back and the underside of the neck and everything. They have added a little bit to it, but it is quite clearly still a mix-up bootleg of both of those figures. But as I've said before, it's a very, very cool figure, and I really do like it. I think if you are going to buy one of these, hopefully you have already purchased both the Papo Spinosaurus and the Papo Baryonyx, because supporting bootleggers and only bootleggers is a bad way to do business for the companies that actually create these sculpts originally. So Papo should be the ones to get some of your money, at least for those figures. But if you've already purchased both of those, then I see no reason why you shouldn't just go buy this guy if you would like a mixture of both. because he is really quite cool. Now, as I mentioned, it does have an articulated jaw, and the jaw doesn't work that great, but it works okay. You can see that it closes, but it's not like a normal Papo jaw where you can open at any distance, because once it reaches a certain point, it drops. So right about there, somewhere in there, it doesn't stay up very well. It's closed, but you can see it doesn't close perfectly. It doesn't close all the way, but it does work okay. One downside, in my opinion, is that on the original, it had articulated arms. Now this one's arms are not articulated. They are stuck in this position for some reason, and they're in an awkward position, really. They're up in his face. It's really kind of weird the way that his arms have been put on. I don't know why they're up like this. Kind of makes him look like he's gonna grab you, but at the same time, it's kind of obnoxious just because it also partially covers some of the face when you're looking at it if you are going to display it. So that is a little bit of a downside to this version. But other than that, that's the only articulation is in the jaw. Like I said, the arms don't move at all. For a size, from head to tail, you are looking at about 14.5 inches, and to the highest point of the tail, almost 6 inches, or about almost 15 centimeters, pretty close to 15 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex. So you can see that the Spinosaurus figure is pretty big. It's definitely a fairly large figure. And now to bring in the rest of the family, here is the original crazy green type of a color, and then the other version, which was the second version. So as you can see, you can have one heck of a Spinosaurus family as far as these knockoff figures go. You could have quite the colorful little group of Spinosaurus figures, but I will say that they all actually differ in size. This big green one here in the back, which is also, in my opinion, a very, very nice coloration, but he has a crappy jaw, doesn't work very well, but it is a very nice coloration. It is the biggest of the group. This middle one here, which is the one that I just reviewed, is the second biggest, and this one here, the original one, with the hard to open articulated jaw, is the smallest. Definitely the smallest of the group. So if you are interested in these bootleg figures, you've got quite a different array of versions you can choose from, or like me, you can choose to buy them all, because I really do love these things. Regardless of the fact that they are bootleg figures, I think that they look super, super cool, and I am just addicted to them. And if they happen to come out with yet another color scheme, I'll probably end up buying that one too, just because I am an absolutely awful sucker when it comes to different variations of figures that I already have. So I will link you in the description to each one of these guys if you want to purchase any of them. They basically equal out to somewhere between $10 to $15. Maybe, actually, this one I think is closer to 20. So this one is probably about 10, 12 bucks. That one's about 20, and this one was actually about 15, so he's the biggest of the group. Weird that he'd be cheaper than the middle-sized one, but whatever. Either way, I'll link you guys in the description, so go ahead, check that, click there, and buy them if you like. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.